freaking Burrow is so amazing. That is Bengals radio on the call. Look, it didn't take much to beat a Ravens team without Lamar Jackson. And thankfully they did, so we didn't have to worry about a coin toss for who to host that wild card game coming up this weekend. But Joe Burrow is asked after the game, okay, guys, do you feel like you got to win now? Like the window is now? Because they just went to the Super Bowl, obviously, and now they've won the division back-to-back years. And he said, quote, the window is my whole career. Coaches will change, players will change, but our window is always open. I mean, that is one of the single most badass quotes in NFL history. Number one, because he's basically saying nothing else matters except me. He said in that clip, you heard it, coaches will change, players will change, but the window's open my entire career. First of all, that's the most badass quote ever. But also, he's on the Bengals. The Bengals window has never been open. There's never been a window too open. The Bengals have been one-year anomalies. In 1981, window open. We got to the Super Bowl. 82, window's pretty much closed. 87, one of the worst teams in football. 88, suddenly windows open. By 89, windows pretty much closed. When Marvin Lewis was there, the window was like creaked open a little bit. Maybe we'll let you in the playoffs, but we're not really a Super Bowl team. Window's never really open. He gets to a Bengals team as the number one pick in the draft, by the way, because the Bengals are the worst team in football when he gets there. And now they've won the division back-to-back years, and you'd be stupid not to think the Bengals could get to a Super Bowl again this year. And here he is going, for as long as I'm playing, the window's always going to be open. It ain't Zach Taylor. It ain't Jamar Chase. It ain't anybody but me. As long as I'm here, the window's open. And Burrow does this without an arrogance. Somehow Aaron Rodgers, this eludes him constantly. That Rodgers wants to be badass, but comes off just being a smug punk most of the time. Burrow says things that are very swaggy, does things that are very obnoxious. The cigars and the sunglasses and the 90s clothing and the quotes like this, but he somehow never gets into the I hate Joe Burrow. I don't know what this guy is doing, what this guy is eating. Take a sip of that, what this guy is drinking. Joe Burrow's freaking awesome. He just said, as a Bengal, our window's open for as long as I am here. And he's not wrong. He keeps delivering. Had he had 1/2 second longer in the pocket last year before Aaron Donald hit him, he's probably hitting Jamar Chase on a touchdown pass to win the Super Bowl. He ain't lying. And this Bengals team's really good. They're just as good as the Bills, and they're just as good as the Chiefs, and they nearly were able to show that this year before, of course, Damar Hamlin's injury. But beware of underestimating the Bengals at your own risk. They're really good. And
take a sip of that.
Just like Joe Burrow is wearing goofy sunglasses like he's a Color Me Bad member. And the hair swooped over and saying, no, our window's open as long as I'm playing. Our window is forever. Okay, dude. All right. How does he do this? How does he walk the line of arrogance but not coming off as arrogant?
I hate to say this, but I think that's actually like a born ability. I don't think anybody has it. It's just a natural thing. You look at him and you don't hate him. He has that face, like you're saying, where you're like, I feel like if I went to school with this guy, I may not like him, but I love him. I absolutely love him. He's not the kind of player I love to have, but I hate to face him. Everybody loves him. I don't even think Chiefs and Bills fans hate him.
How can you hate him? What's there to hate? But he says and does a ton of things that should be hateable.
Yeah, but even when he makes a big, there's just nothing on the field where you're like, oh, I hate this. Every time there's a big play, it's a simple fist bump back there, and he says all the right things. I love the guy. I believe me, I love him. And it still feels like he's underrated, too, doesn't it?
Totally. Yes. because Josh Allen's arm is ridiculous and Patrick Mahomes' playmaking is ridiculous. And it just kind of gets lost that Burrow's consistent greatness is just that. But he's great. He's great, and he's confident, and he does it without being a jerk. He seems also really grounded. Like if you saw him, unlike Aaron Rodgers, would never say, "Get away from me, buddy." Joe Burrow, seeing you naked, sitting in Central Park and nothing but a Speedo, would laugh. He would absolutely engage you.
I would argue Burrow might ask to grasp my moob and just give it a little cup size.
You think so?
I mean, he's that cool. He's that cool. I think he would. He wouldn't be turned off. A little razor burn, he'd be into it.